Welcome back to the Preppy podcast, and thank you all so much for listening. This week, I am talking with Claire, and she is one of the founders of Flaire Lighting, which, if you know me, you know I love decorating my home. I love decor and pretty little details, and these cordless lamps have been very popular recently. So I really enjoyed our conversation on talking about that trend, like where these cordless lamps came from, and the rise in popularity, but really learning more about how she came up with this concept. She has a background in interior design and then developed these lamps with such great detail. Just the feel of them, the weight of them is so nice. They have these beautiful acrylic balls on them, a gorgeous scalloped shade, as well as my favorite feature is to turn them on and off. This very satisfying knob that you turn and clicks into place, and you can fade it or turn it brighter. Just so much detail, and I think lighting has so many technical aspects. It's not just creating a garment. There's like electronics obviously that are involved. So I really enjoyed asking her how it came from idea to actually this product, which involves so much detail. But I know you guys are going to love this episode, so I hope you enjoy the listen. But before we get into that, just a reminder that we launched Club Preppy last month, and it has been so much fun. Basically, it's a monthly membership. You can go on the preppypodcast.com and sign up. With the membership, we do at least one virtual event per month. Right now, honestly, we've been doing two. Plus, you get an amazing little treat in the mail. Think of it as like exclusive branded merch. Last month, everyone got an amazing tote bag. This month, I've been working on a really fun product that I'm not going to share here until it's out. But it was just so fun. Just think like the Preppy Handbook as sort of the inspiration. And you also get exclusive discounts to some of the brands that I have on this podcast, or some of my favorite brands that I love to shop. And it's just a great community. You're part of a group chat where people share their own preppy finds or just encourage and support each other. It's just so fun, and a great way to be part of the community, especially between our camp preppies, which stay tuned for more on that. I will be announcing dates very, very shortly. I'm just finalizing the details for our camps for the rest of this year. All right, well, let's get into this week's episode. All right, so why don't you first let everyone know who you are, where you live, and what you do?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so my name is Claire Balch. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I started my lighting company about almost 2 years ago, and it's called Flaire Lighting. So here we are on this podcast now.
Yes. Well, and I am so excited to get to chat with you today and learn all about how Flair came to be and your background, and everything leading up to it, because I can't remember how I initially stumbled across you. I think it was Instagram, and I saw your lights and I was like, these are gorgeous. I need to know more. So we're going to chat about all the things today.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. So let's start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about you as a kid. Were you entrepreneurial? Were you creative? Were you like one of those kids that were constantly redecorating your bedroom and into design? Like, what was your childhood like?
Oh my gosh. Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. So I was definitely a creative kid. My favorite show was HGTV. I literally loved interior design. I loved art. I always was an artist first and foremost. So I took art all through high school, college, everything. Um, and I also was entrepreneurial. So when I was younger, if there was a business opportunity, I've probably done it from babysitting to I used to make jewelry. I had an Etsy shop making jewelry, and I would sell at like farmers markets, wherever I could. And I sold my artwork there. When I was in college, I had various side hustles. And then even after college, I guess it was 2020 when I got laid off from my job during COVID, and I started an art business then, and I sold artwork. So I've always done something, and I've always loved it. My dad also has his own business, so I grew up watching him, and he was always so inspiring to me. And so, yeah, when I had the idea for Flair, I just knew it was something I had to do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then it sounds like you were very involved with art and still today are quite the artist. So when you went to college, did you study art or where did you go and what did you end up studying?
Yes. So when I went to college, actually, it's funny, I started out as a nursing major,
Oh.
so far opposite from where I ended up. But I did that for a semester. And then I just really wasn't liking that. So I called my parents, and I was at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I really don't want to do this. Should I switch to art major, or should I switch? I wanted to do something more creative.
Mhm.
And um, I decided to switch to interior design, which was amazing. So I graduated with a bachelor's degree focusing in on interior design,
Mhm.
and that actually was what led me to Atlanta, where I started my career in the commercial design world. So,
Okay.
yes, so I actually have designed different hotels, restaurants, things like that for the past, I guess it was like 8 years. So I
Uh-huh.
was very experienced in the hospitality world of interior
Okay.
design.
Interesting. And I feel like that molds like it goes with art though too, because it's very aesthetic and very, colors, what colors work together, lines and designs in that sense, and then makes total sense with flair. So tell me a little bit about then your career journey in the world of design.
Yeah, so part of that career, what part of being involved in that means designing spaces that require a lot of lighting levels.
Mm,
So we study, the different levels of lighting and create that moody atmosphere in a space. When you're going into a certain restaurant that
mhm,
you want to be romantic and moody, you're going to have really low lighting levels. Versus if you have, a bowl shop or like a sandwich shop, you're going to have really
mhm,
bright levels. So I, for a long time, worked with lighting designers. We developed and designed lighting in house. Um, and I grew to really enjoy that aspect, but I never
mhm,
saw myself really focusing in on lighting directly. So that kind of happened, I guess, organically, just because um, I had this idea, and actually,
mhm,
I was seeing these portable lamps coming up everywhere in people's homes. We had been using them in restaurant design for years. So
oh,
you'd see
okay.
them on the little tables. And I started seeing people get them for their homes and use them outside. For parties, whatnot. And I really saw those, and I thought, these are not cute. They're not
Yeah.
what I would buy. And I had even talked to people who owned them, and they were like, oh, they just, they die on me, and, you know, they break or whatever. And so that's when I had the idea, when I was actually searching for a product that I wanted, to create something that was more beautiful, more
Mm.
durable, higher quality for the residential market. So we had been doing portable lighting in the commercial world for a while.
Oh, interesting.
But it's just now kind of moving into the residential world, which is
Mhm.
interesting. And so I just didn't see anything that I liked out there, and I wanted to create something different and really unique. And so that's kind of how my interior design background inspired this journey for Flair. Yeah.
I love that. You know what? It's so funny. I never really thought about how it's been in the restaurant industry, these portable lights for so long. I wonder, do you know, like, kind of what made the switch? Like, what switch? I'm not even trying to make a joke there. What made the switch from people wanting them in their homes? Like, what do you think started that trend initially?
Yeah, I think people started to see them, and there's definitely a huge need for them because, people are always wanting light where there's no outlet, and
Hmm.
cords have always been an issue. whether you're setting a lamp on a console table behind your
Yeah.
sofa in the middle of the room, or you need it on an end table. We
Hmm.
see a lot of nurseries where you just want it floating next to your rocking chair. So,
Yeah.
um, but I do think it originally was coming in for like outdoor dining. So a
Yes.
lot of people wanted them for their outdoor dining tables to accent, at night if they're eating
Yeah.
outside or whatever. I think that's might have been where the crossover started, and then
Yeah.
people started using them in all places. And
In the
there's,
home.
and there's definitely different ways to do the portable lamps.
Yeah.
Um, there's different companies that do different things. Some people give you a rechargeable bulb. Some
Hmm.
people have like a rechargeable pad on the bottom that you sit in on. So
Yeah.
there was when we started Flair, I first started researching and seeing what's the best way that this functions for a residential application. I didn't really like the pads that you have to sit it on to charge, and I
Hmm.
didn't like the rechargeable bulbs because you have to have two of them, you have to remember to charge them, things
Yeah.
like that. And that's when we decided we wanted to do just like the standard USB-C port
Yeah.
that's in the base of our lamp,
Okay.
which comes with its own challenges. So we
Very
we had
cool.
to develop that. We actually developed, it took about a year of product development just to get our lamp where we needed it. So when I say I've I started Flair 2 years ago, one whole year of that was probably developing
So
the product. Yeah,
okay, that makes total sense. And you know what? Hearing you talk about, people, residential's homes wanting these portable lights makes sense. It kind of almost sounds like maybe it started then during COVID with outdoor dining because people were trying to meet and they needed light though when it would get dark. So I'm thinking that maybe is even, and then people wanted to bring it into their house, like you're talking about. Um,
absolutely.
so tell me about then that manufacturing journey. Like how it took a year, you said. Was it just kind of taking up to Google, using your contacts that you had from working in design? Like what did that journey look like? Because I can imagine, I interview a lot of people who have clothing on here or jewelry, but I think something like a light, there's so much like tech that goes into it and electricity, obviously, that probably adds a whole nother level. It's not just aesthetics, right?
Absolutely. So I first and foremost went to my contacts that I already had
Hmm.
for these lighting manufacturers. So
Hmm.
oftentimes when we would be designing a lighting fixture, you utilize the resources that you have within these factories. So they'll have their engineers on deck that they work with you. They are experts in lighting. The tricky part was not everyone is an expert in portable lighting and like the batteries that are in the lamps. So even though I went to all my contacts, a lot of them said no, like we're not going to venture into this area. We don't want to do this. We're not going to do portable lighting. It's just too hard. So
Yeah.
and with the sketch so basically, I had my idea, I had my vision of what I wanted it to function like, how I wanted it to work. I had a
Hmm.
sketch and I had as much information that I could put into the product. When I took it to the engineers, a lot of them said, you can't do that. You have to have this, you have to have this, it has to be this size. So there was a lot of hurdles in getting just my design where I wanted it to be. Some
Hmm.
of that technical things were like you have to have a transformer that takes the power from the cord, steps it down in order to power your batteries.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
but your cord has to have a lot of power to get the batteries to turn on. So we had to engineer that. The biggest challenge was I wanted this acrylic knob at the top of the lamp and I wanted it to be a full rotary dimmer. So
Okay.
much like the little acrylic finials you see on
Hmm.
lamps, I wanted it actually to twist and function as the dimmer. And so there's a dimming component, and then also the fact that on off is located above the light source creates a tricky like direction of power because the power is coming in at the base and then it has to go to the
To the
top where the
top.
knob is, and
Mhm.
then it lights your LED panels within, and then of course you have your batteries so that are being recharged. So there's a lot happening in the lamp that we had to really work with engineers to get right and to get to function properly. And also, we wanted to come out and be the longest lasting on the market that we could possibly be and do.
Okay.
So we wanted to. I think there is 3 batteries in the lamp that
Wow.
hold the power. So we are cramming a lot into the shade and the head of the lamp, a lot of technical things. It's all housed like up here, where there's different portable lamps. They do different,
Mhm.
like I talked about, some have a rechargeable bulb or things like that.
Yeah.
So there's ways to do it, but this I thought would be the most functional for the end user. So that's
Yes.
really where we worked with the engineers. We did multiple prototypes and lived with them in our own home and
Mhm.
made sure it was super functional. Um, and
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I mean, I feel like I'm in a science class. I'm learning so much. And it's so fascinating, but it all makes sense when you're talking about it, about, where the power is coming from, where the light source is. Like, they're just things you don't think of as a consumer, but it's all what makes this so aesthetically pleasing to look at as well. Like, I love the turning dimming feature at the top. It's beautiful and it functions so well. So, it took you an hour then, or an hour, a year to develop this, from idea to getting it ready to go out on market. Then how did you narrow down on, like, beyond the functionality of it, but the aesthetics? Like, I see a little scalloped lampshade on it. It has this beautiful acrylic ball base. What were sort of the thought process in more of the aesthetics behind it?
yeah. So when I first sketched the lamp, I actually sketched probably 4 styles of a
Okay.
product. And this was the first sketch that I had done. And a lot determined which one I was going to go with. So part of that was engineering. Some of the lamps I sketched will never be possible to even create in this
Mhm.
manner. So we narrowed it down that way. And then also I really wanted, I loved the acrylic component at the bottom.
Mhm.
I think it reflects the surroundings of wherever it is beautifully. So even if it's, wherever it is, if it's on a tablescape with tons of flowers or candles, even, it's bouncing all of this gorgeous light around. You're seeing pattern and color through it. And it really helps it to work within any space and any style. And then as far as the shade and the scallop, I wanted to just bring in a little bit of flair, a little bit of fun into the lamp, and that's partly where the name came from. Is flair. Like
Yeah.
we really wanted to have something fun and exciting to it, and be a statement piece, but also still be timeless and classic. So we've really, a lot of the feedback we get is it works in a very traditional environment. It can work with fine china. We sell it in a lot of high end fine china stores and things like
Mhm.
that. Or it can, work on your mahjong table. It can work in a nursery. There's so many outlets where it can work, and it truly looks beautiful with so many styles, which is what I wanted
Yeah.
to for our
And
first lamp. Yeah.
definitely. And I know it comes in a few different colors as well. So how'd you pick what colors to do?
Yeah. So we started out with what I think is like the most universal color. We actually
Mhm.
only launched with one color, and it was
Okay.
our celadon, which is a bluish green,
Mhm.
very soft, and it's a little bit of a neutral in that it works with so many of people's homes and interiors. I just love green. And so we launched with that. Once we had success with our first launch, we knew we wanted to go and do 5 colors.
Okay.
And I actually took swatches to local stores of the colors I was thinking. So
Mhm.
the pink, the blues, I knew we wanted to do a cream, and those were the first, yeah, the pink, the blue, and the cream and the green were the first colors I wanted to do. And we
Okay.
took swatches literally into some of these stores, matched them with different fine china. Like we wanted it to match with Janori and heron pieces. And like we wanted it to fit in the market we were trying to sell it in. So
Yes.
we weren't going to come out with a color that just was really far off. And so once we got those colors finalized, we decided we wanted to add the chocolate brown. And that was really like we had to take a leap with that one because I guess with the factory too, and if you understand merchandising and product development, all of the colors that we were going to make, they had large minimum order quantities. So we
Mhm.
couldn't just come in and test a color. Each color had to be, we had to think, okay, this is really going to sell. This is going to work because we were putting a lot of money up front to get the product.
Yeah.
So the next color was chocolate brown, and we were coming into fall. And I was like, I really think chocolate brown is going to be big. And a lot of people, like even my husband, who's also my business partner in this, he was hesitant. And I had to convince a lot of people for the chocolate brown. And it turns out it was our biggest seller, especially last fall.
Wow.
So the colors were so important to me to get right. And all of them have been like huge hits. I knew we wanted to do the pink and the blue,
Okay.
especially. I love pink. It to me is a neutral. Um,
I do too, clearly.
but they are huge. They sell really well for nurseries, and I knew
Yeah.
we wanted to do the pink and the blue for that. So that was one of the reasons we picked those. And then, of course, blue is like another color that I just love. And
Yes.
yeah, so
I love the story behind the colors. And I think that's so smart that you sort of did your market research of, like you said, where the stores and what you wanted your product to be paired with is so smart. And I don't think enough people think about that or do that. So that's a great tip right there that you just shared. So then in terms of launching, I know you said you first launched with just the one color, that greenish blue celadon. What did launch look like for you? Like creating a website, obviously, creating social media, maybe like building out social media. Like, how did you go from product to putting it out in the world?
yeah, so while we were developing the product for that year, I still didn't have a name and I didn't have branding or anything designed or developed or a website. So as we were getting the product correct, I knew in my head I had this vision of what I wanted it to look like and be, but I couldn't put my finger on it yet. Um, and it's so hard to visualize something that like doesn't exist yet. And now I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. Um, but I did work with a couple different like logo developers and things, which all turned out horribly. So
Oh
it was so funny. Yeah, I ended up once the name came to me, which I'll go really quick into the name. It's a combination of the word flare, like a flare of light,
no.
and
Hmm.
then something that has flair or pizzazz or excitement.
Style.
So
Yes.
style, yes. Those two words combined is Flaire, and that's where flare lighting came from. And so eventually, after working with a few logo designers, I just sat down and I was like, I have to do this myself. And so I designed the logo and created it, got the colors, and
Wow.
then set up our first website on Wix. We
Uh-huh.
were first on Wix, and I designed the website and built it myself. Um, so we launched on that. So it was a lot of work. Um, and then for our second launch, when we actually launched all of the colors, we did end up switching to Shopify and we did have a website designer come in and help me with that. So that was like one of the first people I hired to
Yeah.
help me.
Well, I love the name. I think that's so smart. It makes total sense when you explain it. Um, Now, I'm curious then, how it sounds like you've been selling wholesale to a lot of boutiques then. Was that always part of the plan? Like, did you have the margins built for wholesale? And then have you gone to any of the markets, whether it's High Point or, America's Mart at Atlanta to show, or have you just kind of done that organically?
Yeah, so when we started, we were actually thinking we would do more direct to consumer. And what we realized was with our product, people really need to touch, feel it, see it in person to see the quality and see just like you almost have to do it, like turn the knob and feel
Mm-hmm.
how nice it is. And so we actually went first to two stores, one in Atlanta and one in Charlotte with our product, and talked to them, brought it in, and asked if they would want to sell it, thinking they would never like agree to sell our product.
Yeah.
And both of them absolutely loved it and immediately wanted to sell it. As far as margins and wholesale, we were honestly so unfamiliar with that world. So we had to do a lot of research and upfront, but we did have the margins built in for that.
Okay.
But we had no idea about minimum order quantities or lead times or terms. So that was a huge learning curve. But after we got in those first two stores and they both sold out and wanted to make a reorder, we thought, okay, I think wholesale is going to be a great avenue for
Mm-hmm.
us, but we'll keep our direct to consumer open on our website.
Yeah.
So, flash forward, we actually met with a showroom that is in the America's Mart.
Oh,
They make lamp shades and
okay.
they make shades for a lot of the portable lamps that are on the market that are um, you've probably seen them, like it's the Poldina, or you can get them on
Uh-huh.
Amazon, like the simple lamp. So
Yeah.
she and I partnered and she designed and developed some shades that specifically fit our lamp.
Oh, cool.
And she offered for us to show in her showroom at America's Mart. And so we got to be in a permanent showroom and showcase our lamps there, which was incredible and the best opportunity. And so that's where we got a lot of new wholesale stores and we got to experience that. And so that was this past January. So
Okay.
we're still so new and we're going to do more shows and do all of that, but it was huge for us to see like, okay, these stores actually want to sell the
Yeah.
lamp and we have customers and we have stores, already making reorders from their first order that sold out. So it's exciting to see all of the growth that's happened in the last year. So
Yes, yeah. So then, kind of going off of that, do you have like a trade program then too? Do you work with a lot of interior designers, I'd assume?
yeah, so we do a trade program. They just have to reach out via email or through our website,
Mm.
and we'll do a
Okay.
trade discount for them. And yeah, and I'm excited. We also have a couple event planners who are
Oh,
using our lamp. So that's another avenue that
yes.
we didn't think of at first, but
Yeah.
they
Like
have,
weddings, I'm
yeah,
sure.
weddings. And so we did go to our first wedding where the lamps were used on the bars and things. And that was so
Mhm.
exciting to see and like see how they styled it in person. So, but we'll have more coming up this next year once some of these rental companies start having their events with them. So that was so exciting.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that makes total sense once you say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious, what is the worst part or the least favorite part of yours about owning this business, about running this business? And then on the flip side, like, what's the best part? What's your favorite part?
The worst part is definitely shipping and logistics.
Yeah.
So with our product, it takes probably, I think our lead time with our factory is about 3 months
Oh,
to
wow.
produce the product.
Yeah.
So it's really a longer production time. And then we are sending everything over by freight, like over
Okay.
the seas. And that has given us so many challenges
Yeah.
you cannot even imagine. So with between LCL and customs and all of that, I hate dealing with that.
It sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, and they're large boxes, it's heavy, so
Mhm.
it's expensive, and it's always slower than you think it is. Like,
Mhm.
there's always an issue. It's like
Yeah.
it's never smooth. So we've dealt with a lot there. We've even had to air freight like 50 lamps that we
Oh
just
my
had to
gosh.
get them here in time. And
Which is so expensive.
yeah, so it's been a nightmare with shipping, but we've hopefully got that all under control. And then we're also like with our wholesale stores and things, we are being very lenient on timing. Like we are telling them way longer and then hopefully they'll get it sooner. But
Yeah.
it's just we don't want to overpromise when there's so much out of our control with shipping.
Mhm.
So that's the least favorite. My most favorite is definitely just seeing the and hearing the feedback from customers and clients is so exciting and rewarding. Like we have people share the nicest reviews, the nicest things. I actually had someone send me, there was like a Facebook group. I think it's something with mahjong, but
Okay,
someone
yeah.
had posted the lamp on their mahjong table, and this woman who commented probably wrote a paragraph about our lamps and how amazing they were. And she was talking about, oh, they're a little bit more pricey than other lamps, but you are going to get the best quality and they're
Oh,
so worth it. And saying how she uses it every day. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the nicest. That's
yeah.
exactly what we wanted. So it's amazing to hear that and hear from even wholesalers or like the retail stores how what customers are saying and
Mhm.
um, people have DM'd us on Instagram, and hearing all the positive feedback is like it still shocks me because I'm like, I saw this and this is what I wanted, but now it's actually like coming to fruition and happening, and my customers are happy and excited. So that they're the most important thing.
Yes, it keeps you going and motivates you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of customers then, who would be a dream customer for you? If you could pick anyone, like, a famous interior designer, a celebrity, a royal, an influencer, like who would be a dream to have one of
Oh
your
my
lights?
gosh. So I have two. So one would be a store, like a online store, and
Yeah.
it's over the moon.
Yes.
I love all the things they sell, and I want to be on their bridal registry list.
Mhm.
So that's one that would be like a wholesale customer that
Yeah.
I would love to land. And then for just like a person or a celebrity, I'd have to say Taylor Swift because she's
Yeah.
my favorite.
No, that would be great. I mean, I could see her using it to read her books. I know she's a big reader. I feel like she probably plays mahjong too, like especially being friends with Blake Lively, or who knows if they're still friends.
I
Um,
know.
but I could see her using it, or I think people say that she needlepoints maybe, or does some kind of embroidery and stitching. So she's a
And that's
great one.
exactly what it's for. Like, I love that you said that because truly, like, I use it. I want to sit down, write my thank you cards. I turn my lamp on. Like,
Yeah.
I want to sit, read my book. And the best part is you can, like, really customize the light level. And
Mhm.
it's so perfect to have. Like, I actually cannot live without it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm owner, but just in our home, like we bring it around into all the rooms constantly. We're like, where's the Flaire? We need to
Yeah.
get, I'm always needing it for something. So
Well, it was funny when you were talking and you brought up that people really need to see it in person. Like, even just being on this video call with you and you using it, and like it's like a satisfying click when you're turning it on and off. And I'm like, I bet that feels amazing to use actually.
and truly, that is our most important feature.
Yeah.
If someone's watching, but we've had during the product development and even our first launch batch of lamps, some of the knobs came like super tight and
Mm,
it just wasn't functioning properly. And some of them made like a squeaky noise or something. And
yeah.
we could not, like, we were like, we will not sell any of those because that's the most important part
Yeah.
of our brand, is the knob and the functionality of that. So we had to go back to our factory and say, like, that's the biggest, when you're doing quality control,
Mhm.
that's the main feature. So we pride, we put a lot of pride into that and making it really perfect. Oh
Definitely. No, I feel like I need one behind here would be pretty.
my gosh, it would.
So since this is the Preppy podcast, I'm going to ask you, what does Preppy mean to you? How would you describe Preppy?
I describe Preppy as being like utterly timeless.
Mm.
So never going out of style. And but also a little bit fun and colorful. So timeless with a twist.
Yes, and I feel like your lamps do just that. They're timeless, they're colorful, they're classic. So I think that's a great Preppy product here. What are some of your other favorite brands or businesses that you like to pair with your lights, or kind of want to give a shout out to? Are there like two or three maybe?
Okay, yes. So let me think. So one of my favorite brands is Pastel Proper. They are a group of two women who own the brand, and they create these beautiful books that you can
Mm,
display, and also trays for your coffee table. And
yeah.
they make the perfect spot to put your lamp on it, or create a little vignette with the tray, the lamp, and the book.
Mhm.
And so I love them. I'm trying to think. There's so many other brands that I love. I love Tarte by Taylor. She does
Yeah,
acrylic. Actually have her
she's
matching.
fabulous.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
She obviously loves acrylic, and I love acrylic. So we both have that kind of decor feature.
Yeah.
And I love pairing the lamp with like an acrylic frame or acrylic matchbox. Um, what else?
I mean, those are two great answers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have like so many brands that I admire, and when I first started thinking about what this brand would be, I actually went on and like looked at all my favorite brands and saw what are they doing, what are their colors, like,
Mhm.
and what's unique about them that I can look at and what works. Um, who is their following? Like, I wanted to be right there with them.
Mm.
So, and
That's
there's so many
smart.
amazing women out there who inspire me, and like, I'm just like, wow, if these people do it, then I could do it. So that's how I really took the leap to do it.
I love that. That's, part of the reason I do this podcast is I love hearing other entrepreneurs' stories, and it just motivates me as an entrepreneur too, and I know others. So, I think that's smart looking at the people that you admire. I'm curious, do you still do art, or like has you kind of Flair taken over, or do you just like for fun do your art on the side or anything?
For now, Flair has definitely taken over. I also am a new mom. I have
Oh,
10-month-old now, and she takes all my time.
yeah.
My mom always jokes, she's like, you have two babies, your real baby and Flair baby.
Yeah.
Because they both take a lot of time and a
Oh,
lot of
I'm
work
sure.
and a lot of energy. So I will come back to art
Mm.
when I'm ready. Um, right now, all my creativity goes into the business and working on now social media is like the most full-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
So working on that always. And I have ideas for art that I want to do, but they just have to be put aside for now.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Any sneak peeks you can tell listeners? Like, obviously, you mentioned that we'll see Flair at a lot more events coming up, likely stores around the country. But anything else you want to plug or share a little sneak peek of?
Yes. So or I guess at the January market, we did launch for wholesale only um, fabric pleated and woven shades that you can slide over the top of your lamp,
Oh,
and you can completely change the look of it in your house. So you could, have it a chocolate brown shade with little florals on your chocolate brown lamp, and it just completely softens the look and creates a new look. We had we have like a seagrass shade that is like a natural woven, and you can slide it onto the cream, and it's almost like this beachy textured look.
yeah.
And so it completely changes the look of the lamp. So we worked on those probably for the past 6 months
Okay.
with Maison Design, who
Mhm.
creates the beautiful shades, and developing them. And those are launching in mid-March. So
Okay.
yes, follow
Excellent.
along. Got to follow our Instagram to stay tuned and see how those are launching to the public. But you'll be able to purchase those, and they were super successful at markets. So we're excited to bring them to the public.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I can't wait to see those. Now, a final question is where can people find you? Where can they shop your products? Let them know your website URL, your social media handles, and anywhere else they can find you.
Yeah, so on our website, it's www.flairelighting.com. That you can purchase directly through us. We also do have a feature on our website that you can do find us, and it'll show some of the stores we're located in. So you can find a store near you. And our Instagram is also at Flair Lighting. So super simple. And recently, too, we'll be on Maison on their website so that you can purchase their shades with our lamp there as well. So that's where we're at.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Well, Claire, I really enjoyed learning more about you and your business today. So thank you so much for being on the Preppy podcast.
Thank you so much, Patricia. It was so fun.
Thank you so much for listening to the Preppy podcast. I hope this put a little prep in your step for the day. Please subscribe, rate, and review on wherever you listen to your podcast, and follow along with @the Preppy Podcast on social media.